All right, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, Bios in Nigeria, welcome to Newspaper Review this lovely Friday morning, the 14th day of November 2025. I am Moye Steving. Let us start with the business day. The big story there, Nigeria's curriculum overhaul sparks WAEC exam jitters. Of course, sparks WASC exam jitters. Barely a year to the 2026 West African Senior School Certificate Examination. The decision is that they have to stop the computer-based examination, test. So the National Assembly is asking them to calm down with that move. Let's take a look at these other stories. 2026 World Cup, Nigeria to battle DR Congo in CAF player final. I know a lot of Nigerians are excited about the victory yesterday, 4-1. It came it was hard fought. And congratulations to the boys and to Nigeria as well. We look forward to Sunday to see how that turns out. Well, we are very hopeful that we're going to go for the intercontinental playoffs. Definitely. OG Carlo appointing junior officers as service chiefs is causing loss of trained military manpower. BBC apologizes to Trump over edited documentary but rejects demand for $1 billion compensation. Federal government fresh 1.15 trillion loan exposes Tinubu's debt addiction as credited to the ADC. Abuja airport runway shut down after jet tire bursts. What? Wow. That's really terrible. And then, of course, Naira gains as external reserves hit 6-year high of $43.42 billion. And more stories you see on the business day, how Nigeria's currency reforms spark a comeback story for foreign investments. And lastly, there were other stories as well, but let me take this as the very last one. Sweat meets profit and longevity. I think that's an opinion. So you want to check it out on the business day to get the details. Let's move now to the Punch newspaper. And Ibadan Convention. PDP delegates arrive amid Saraki's cancellation move. Oh, wow. Well, no one, it's going to be interesting, right? Interesting times. It's tomorrow, right? 15th. Let's see how that turns out to be. Tinubu shifts 15% fuel import duty to the first quarter of 2026. Tinubu shifts 15% fuel import duty to the first quarter of 2026. 3 Nigerians arrested for fraud in Kenya. And then AMCON officials and lawyers face contempt charges for contravention of court orders. Still on the Punch newspaper, 36 million naira fraud, suspected fake Ondo cocoa farmer to face trial. And then you still see the story about the Wiki saga, a throwback to military impunity. I guess that's the editorial of the paper. You want to check it out for yourself to see the details. And the National Assembly shifts YX CBT adoption to 2030. Yes, I said that before. Airlines reject fresh $11.50 NIS fee. And then you want to see all the details of that story in the Punch newspaper. Moving on to the Vanguard newspaper. Wike soldiers altercation. Respect the uniform. No offense committed. Generally Rabo Matawale, speaking there. PDP crisis. Wabara, Saraki disagree over tomorrow's convention. What are they talking about? What are they disagreeing about? You want to check it out on the Vanguard newspaper. No religious persecution. Genocide in Nigeria. Idris Tugar, AU. All speaking really tough there. The federal government has rejected claims of Christian genocide in Nigeria, describing the allegation as false and damaging to the country's image. Let's take a look at the other stories there. And then you have this genocide, what we discussed with American officials. I'm actually trying to clear some issues there. A lot of people accuse him that he was also one of those who went to America at the time when President Goodluck Jonathan was in power. They also went there to talk about all of these things, but he tried to clear the air. You want to check it out on the Vanguard paper. And CAF World Cup playoff. DR Congo defeat Cameroon 1-0 to face Nigeria in the final on Sunday. Interesting. Carlo proposes new outfit to tackle rising insecurity. Supports Trump. And capital market T+2 settlement cycle begins November 28, and that's going to the SEC, the SEC. And then dollar to naira exchange rate today, November 14, 2025. You want to check it out on the Vanguard. We'll see all of that details. Federal government suspends 15% import duty on petrol and diesel. Yeah, and look at this one now. Alleged 1.96 billion naira fraud. You have case to answer. Court to ex-AGF. Now, who is the ex-AGF? We'll check it out later on the Vanguard newspaper. Or then you could do it yourself, But let's move quickly to the Daily Times. Power, privilege, and erosion of rights. The Regina Daniels case. Well, that's an interesting opinion story there. Senate leader dismisses alleged plot to impeach Akpabio. All right. And then you move on to another story there. It said Dangote signs $1 billion deal to build cement power plants in Zimbabwe. Yeah. Dangote signs $1 billion deal to build cement and power plants in Zimbabwe. So Zimbabwe is having Dangote this time. Banks direct customers to link accounts with NIN or tax ID ahead of new tax law implementation. And then, of course, you have that Reverend Dachomo vows to sue Nigerian government over alleged Christian genocide. And that the man who spoke, and then it became very, very, trend. It became a trendy story all over the world. As the Reverend Dachomo, I think, based in Plateau State, is going to sue the federal government. Well, let's see how that pans out. It has destroyed education. Federal government scraps mother tongue policy, mandates English from pre-primary level. And that's going to be our conversation today on Let's Talk Nigeria. So you want to stick around to get more details. We'll have a specialist there who is going to be discussing that. And let's move on lastly to the Vanguard, or to the Guardian newspaper. Yes, the Guardian newspaper. And we have this enforcement of expired export orders against Nest Oil, Nikonde unlawful. And then you have some of the top stories there on the Guardian newspaper. Let's take a look at them. ADC says fresh 1.15 trillion naira loan exposes Tinubu's addiction to reckless debts. And Libya deports 80 Nigerians over illegal stay. U.S. military intervention in Nigeria will be messy, says Adeyemi. And then you have this. AU chief dismisses genocide claims as Obi tasks editors on nation building. And then, of course, Nigeria supplied 12.6 million barrels to Dangote, says the NMDPRA. You want to get the details there on our Guardian newspaper. And Senate considers bill subjecting military convictions to court review. And then lastly, we have this. Security operators arrest 3 traffickers, rescue 17 kids in Kaduna. These are many more on the Guardian newspaper. And then let's take a look at the analysis.
Golden FM 97.5.